Welcome everyone. My name is Yann Follin. I am architect and I am based in Singapore, and my architecture company is Wito. We are based in Singapore and in Paris as well. Here today I would like to share with you something very important about the disappearance of modern architecture in Singapore and Southeast Asia, with this big question: do we know what we lose? Do we know what we gain? So just a bit of background on the landscape of Singapore. The population density has grown so much from 1960s up to now 4 times. So a much larger population. The condition of the housing, you have 79% for public housing, 21% private housing. The land reclamation, 580 square kilometers in 1960s, 720 kilometers now, plus 24%. So this has grown tremendously, but at the same time, to keep the green areas to the maximum, 46%, and also to understand the building footprint, 13%. The rest are for infrastructure. The maximum height, 290 meters. So when I'm sharing all of this, it is to understand the context of Singapore, the built environment. And so the conserved building, pre-independence, more than 7,000, it includes as well every single shop house, while post-independence, it is 15. So that tells a lot about the conservation of modern architecture. So conservation, preservation, protection, or restoration of the natural environment and of wildlife, preservation and repair of archaeological, historical, and cultural sites and artifacts. So I can share with you a bit of examples of post-independence buildings that have been demolished. The National Library, 1960, was demolished in 2004 to make way for a tunnel to ease traffic. 1963, the National Theatre, loved by the people, demolished in 1986 to make way for a central expressway. Fortunately, heritage plaques built in the memory of it are placed, but even this one that we're paying tribute to the National Theatre have disappeared to make way for the new MRT station that is there. Queensway Cinema, 1977, demolished in 2013 to make way to a new developed 6-story commercial building. And more recently, Rothshaw Center, public housing, very loved by the people. It's the last of its kind on a podium, demolished in 2018 to be developed into an expressway and some other infrastructure. So why demolish? Why do we demolish? Lack of building maintenance. Yes, you can see some of the buildings like this in Singapore. So lack of building maintenance. Differing perception of what is conservation worthy. This building is ugly, as people say, while some others say, oh, but this is very valuable. And also the home ownership for the people, this home ownership scheme that was enabling low-income Singapore citizens to buy flat and amenities on a 99-year lease basis, which means that there is a renewal that will happen again and again and again. And also this development economics where we want to purchase new units. On the contrary, why preserve? Why do we need to preserve? It's an appreciation, and we learn from the lessons of the past. So here, those are colonial buildings. I'm showing you this as examples. So we learn from them and we keep them and we repurpose them. Even this former post office that became a hotel, for example. Buildings are testimonies of our history. When we look at what became the National Gallery, it used to be the Supreme Court and the City Hall. So, and then it became the National Gallery of Singapore. Symbols of Singapore industrialization, one of the modern buildings that has been gazetted as well. Capture new entities of culture and heritage. So those are critical in that. When we see this intangible culture, the food court, as we can see here, the hawker center, as we can see here, this is part of the intangible culture. Even it has been by the UNESCO, it has been inscribed to the heritage, intangible heritage culture as well. Shared and collective memories as a community. So those are important elements. It is community making, like interaction. Of course, in this COVID time, it is quite difficult to show such image, but we love being together. We are related to our built environment. And last but not least, to preserve. Well, if we don't preserve, it has a sustainable and environmental cost. And so here we love seeing those like circulation in public housing, where we can see how people are inhabiting the circulation, and we want to keep all of this as well. So the question, do we preserve architecture as a monument if we want to preserve? Or how do we modernize a nation? So demolition versus preservation. And again, here we're looking at the Singapore context, the Singapore example of successful examples of conservation. Dakota Crescent, one of the first public housing in Singapore, 1958. It was stated to be demolished, announced to be demolished and redeveloped in 2014. Fortunately, a ground-up initiative, a group of conservationists got together and rallied together to demonstrate the importance of keeping such structure. They did some working tours, like some activist group, and even Instagrammers came there to raise awareness on the importance of keeping such structure. But are we doing enough to resist the current, or are we erasing memory? So those are true, valid questions, because when we look at Pearl Bank Apartment, 1976, that will be part of the Seoul Biennale, that it is our contribution to SBAU. So Pearl Bank Apartment, that was one of the most innovative structure at its time, designed by the architect, a young architect of that time, Tan Cheng Xiong. And there were no precedent to the construction of such high building locally. Financing the project involved great risk. We incorporated several new ideas and construction ideas. So it was that this idea of the future, the pioneering architect of the nascent nation. And we can see here, yes, it's a brutalist building, but it was glorious. And with this split level like this, to ensure to have this cross ventilation for naturally ventilated spaces. Unfortunately, the policies currently encourage people to uproot from where they live. It is this idea, as if I quote Mr. Tan Cheng Xiong, get rich by destruction mentality. Unfortunately, Pearl Bank couldn't be saved. And so we lost memory, we lost history of modern Singapore. And whatever is happening here is not stranger to other countries in Southeast Asia. Cambodia is facing the same, Indonesia, and so on. Golden Mile Complex 1973, that was at risk last year, where it was almost in the process of being demolished, but it could obtain a kind of preservation status. It is still in process, and it is again very relevant to that era, and something that should be preserved once again when we see this kind of very futuristic building of the 70s. So the 3 R's of conservation: maximum retention, sensitive restoration, careful repair. And when we look at the work here, the Grand Parc in Bordeaux, Lacaton and Vassal, that got the Pritzker Prize this year, congratulations to them. They got one of the most important prizes, the Mies van der Rohe Award in 2019, for their preservation of this building that doesn't seem to be so iconic or interesting, but it got revamped. It got in so much better, improving the daily life of the inhabitants. It was done with the people, with the communities, where you can see that the facade has been extended to provide more spaces, more generous spaces for the people. And so that's the beauty of the work of Lacaton and Vassal, where they're advocating for the people and to preserve architecture, to preserve communities, and to have a more sustainable approach. So when we see that more space, more light, more views, upgraded facilities, And of course, it's a lovely place to live in when we see something like this. And so, like, the project was praised for radically improving the space and the quality of life of its occupants, and optimizing the economic and environmental cost. When we see this, we ask ourselves, can we do it for that? This is People's Park in Singapore. We lost Pearl Bank forever. And I invite you to come to SBAU to see our installation, to understand the life of the building and what happened to that iconic, pivotal, and popular structure. And when we see this one, People's Park, that I can see from my office right now, it is right opposite, that we all hope that this structure can be kept, as we can see here, because as if I quote a Singaporean photographer that is very famous here, Darren So, I'm afraid one day is going to go. And that's something that we are all afraid of. So once again, in conclusion, I will ask everyone, do we know what we lose? Do we know what we gain? Thanks again for listening. And I hope to see you, if not at the Seoul Biennale, digitally through the different platforms that we are contributing with for the Seoul Biennale. Thanks again, everyone.